I cannot.
You have to.
I got clothes on, please.
Did I have to? Let me leave. Excuse me. That's my wife. Thank you. My mother takes care of me. Back one on these.
Are we ready?
I'll get out of your way.
Wish that I were coming in from out of town to say these things because it seems like people believe you more if you're from out of town. But and I could be doing that because I've coached a lot of different places. I've been in seven different schools over 20 years. And I will tell you right now that there are a lot of bad coaches. And I will tell you right now that none of them are here in Minco. None of these coaches have to be here. All of these coaches chose to be here for various reasons. And I would promise you that there are other places that we, whoever could go and make quite a bit more money, have a lot bigger, better, plusher facilities. But that's not really all that important to coaches, because I will also promise you that there's no place, and these ladies and gentlemen know that also, there's no place that they could go and coach young ladies and gentlemen as good as these are. And I believe that as strongly as I believe anything, because as I said, I've coached 7 different places over 20 years. It could be a lot of different places, and I chose to be here because I believe so strongly in these young people. From a football coaching standpoint, and as I watch them participate in other activities, there's just something very, very special about being a Minco Bulldog, and it attracts great coaches. As I said, there's a lot of bad coaches out there. None of them are here. And I wouldn't expect, or I wouldn't tell you that we always make the perfect decision or the right decision, or maybe not even the best decision sometimes, but that's not the point. The point is how these coaches feel about your children and our kids, and if they really care for them. And I think that without a person, without unequivocally, I would say that that's the case with these young ladies and gentlemen I want to introduce to you today. So I'll first of all introduce Mr. Hood Baldwin to you to talk about the softball season, okay?
First of all, Mr. Cole, there are a lot of bad administrators. We don't have to be here. You guys don't have to be here. We're probably here because of the administrators, the superintendent, Mr. Smith, Mr. Cobble, the board, the parents. There's probably reasons that we're still here, and that's one of the things that you got to look at also. If you can keep good coaches, you got good people working behind them and around them and all that. And I think that's where you got to look at also. The parents are probably the first and foremost, most important group we've got. To put a banquet on like this, and for you guys to bring the food and volunteer to do it without even hesitating is something to say great about you guys. And I certainly appreciate, especially in the basketball, along with the football and softball, you guys allowing us to work with your young ladies and young men all year long. It seems like we keep them a lot of hours, and there's probably some things they could be doing back home, and you guys sacrifice the time for them also. So at this time, I'd like for the young ladies and young men to give your mom and dad a round of applause. first sport we need to cover is what we had a great deal of success this year. We ended up 25-8 in slow pitch softball. Had a great run at a state championship. Came up a little short, but it wasn't because of the effort or the desire or dedication from these young ladies. We district champions, regional champions. We won the first round, made it to the semifinals of the slow pitch, just like they did in the fast pitch in the fall. Most of these young ladies played both. Some of them did it. Some of them that chose not to, which is fine. The first day we had a meeting in my room, we sat down and we talked about our goals. And we knew where we wanted to be because we didn't make it the year before. We talked about the hard work, the time and effort that it's going to take. And these young ladies chose right then and there that whatever it was going to take, we were going to do. A lot of times we practiced in the gym when it was too cold. Sometimes when it was too cold, we still went outside. Sometimes when it was nice outside before the season got started, we wanted to be elsewhere, but you never did hear that. They stuck through with it. It's just a great group that could have caused a lot of problems had they chose to, had they not had their team in mind. We could have had some problems, but we didn't. It was the most enjoyable year as far as coaching girls that I've had. As far as boys also. We won a lot of ball games. We lost some close ones. When we lost the ones, we tried to work on what we needed to. You know, mistakes are a fact of life. It's really how you respond to them and what you do after you make a mistake. And these girls rose to the occasion each time that they had a mistake. They figured it out. They knew what they did wrong. They knew if they were hitting the ball in the air. They knew if they weren't taking enough ground balls. They knew different things like that. So for us to have the season we had, it was going to take a complete team effort. I've got a group of seniors, and I lose 6 girls. Just like every year when you have a team, you're going to lose some. And these 6 girls are a big part of the team. We saw a lot of leadership come out of these top 6 seniors as the year was going along. Had we not had these seniors, I kind of wondered where the leadership would have came from. Not all of it. You know, I've got a good group of juniors and sophomores and freshmen that are coming up. But I feel like the girls that have been there before know a little bit more about it than the juniors, and the juniors know more about it than the sophomores, and that feeds off each other. So seniors, as I call your name, I'd like for you to come up and receive your plaque and stay up here for momentarily because I want to call the rest of the team up. That first one I had is Miss Sherry Lovelace. Shelley Lovelace. Andrea Rocker. Rick Dobson. Crystal Bunch. Angie Starkey. Okay, the next thing I'd like to do at this time is have the rest of the players come up on the bottom of the stage and just line up for me, please. Just come on up. when you lose 6 and you have 20 some odd players, you feel pretty comfortable about the year upcoming. The rest of these girls that we have, Brandy Hankey, Shelly Hendricks, Stephanie Davis, Carly DeHart, Katrina Wasika, Shauna Clark, Mandy Fulton, Sandra Kerner, Lisa Rhodes, Lindy Vickery, I couldn't see around the corner, I know who you are, Kanye Robinson, and Rachel Wright. Would you please give these girls a great big hand? I've got a couple more awards that I'd like to hand out. Well, I've got these seniors up here. I've got 3 that were nominated for All-State that made it All-State honorable mention. Okay, that's quite a feat because I feel like that our averages are pretty even and that we don't have an outstanding average. We don't have one girl. We have a complete team effort from each and every one of these. I couldn't win it with one girl batting 600. I couldn't win it with 3 girls batting. I'd take girls batting 400, something like that, over one extremely good hitter. And that's what we have. And I feel like that even though we made it to the state tournament and semifinals, that if we would have lost one, we would have been hurting. So this is what I'm exceptionally proud of. For these girls to make honorable mention up next to the other girls is quite an achievement itself. Shelley Lovelace, if you'll come over and receive your Sherry Lovelace, All-State honorable mention. And Andrea Riker. Okay, girls, you can have a seat. I've got a couple more awards. Thank you for coming up. This next award is something that I decided to do myself this year. I've had a young lady that when you ask people to pick up equipment, when you ask people to shag the softballs during batting practice, when you have girls that you ask to do certain things, it draws your attention when you've got one girl that does it all. She's not always there by herself. Sometimes she is and sometimes she isn't. The last 2 years, she has been my courtesy runner for my pitcher. She's always been there. She's always had a great attitude. Not everybody likes to pick up equipment. Not everybody likes to put equipment in the back of the truck. Not everybody likes to carry it to the dugout. Not everybody likes to carry the equipment after you get beat from the dugout to the bus. But this one lady, basically, all year long for the last 2 years, has basically done what everybody else didn't want to do. And I think she is well deserved in this award. And I'm calling it the Softball Lady Bulldog Award. We're handing out another Lady Bulldog Award as the top achiever as a senior, but as a girl that basically works her tail off and does exactly what you ask her to do and a little bit more. This award's going to go to Lisa Rhodes. Next award is what I call the Golden Glove Award, which is on percentage of fielding percentage of the ground balls hit to you, the fly balls hit to you. This is done strictly from the scorebook. I got this completely out of the scorebook. There's no ways around it. You look up the scorebook and you see who's had the most chances of fielding a ball, and you see who's got the most errors, and then you compute that out, and you give the award out. So this is just cut and dry. Nothing you can do about it. It's who's performed all year long. This award is going to go to Shelly Hendricks. And the last one that I have is the batting champion. We had 2 young ladies that were in a race for this. One of them would get hot and the other one would cool down, the other one would get hot, and just vice versa. Extremely close, 27 points separated the winner from the runner-up. Maybe the runner-up will try a little bit harder next year. Maybe she'll concentrate a little bit more. But the runner-up was Katrina Wascutt, 451. The batting champion for the 1994 Lady Bulldogs slow pitch is Mandy Fulton with 478. And last but not least, I'd like to pay special recognition to some people that, when you look up, they're at the ball games, they're helping you out, they're asking, is there anything that they can do? I've got a bunch of parents, a couple of them that I like to draw the recognition to. The first one is our scorekeeper, Larry and Peggy Hendricks. They've been there. They've kept score for us from a coaching standpoint. Having somebody there at the game every time you play, not having to worry about the book, somebody as reliable as those two are, I certainly appreciate you too. Thank you. Next one is an old first base coach. Where are you at, Clyde? Right here. I've enjoyed you, Clyde, this year, and I certainly appreciate you being there. You and Beverly, you guys have been supportive. And I certainly appreciate you being on first base for me all year and asking me when I asked you to do it, you said sure, and you took it over, and you didn't have any qualms about it. I certainly appreciate that, Clyde. And the last group that traveled with us quite a bit is the Fultons, Danny and Brenda Fulton. I certainly appreciate you. You guys would come around and you'd ask, is there anything we can do? Anything that you'd like for us to do for the girls? Anything that's needs done, I certainly appreciate you too. 4 more people, very important. 5 more people. First off, my wife for putting up with me and being gone a lot and practicing late. I'd just like to thank her for allowing me to do my job and to be supportive of me. Miss Stowe, also coming in late. I certainly appreciate you working with me, phone calls, doing all that you do, Mr. Smith. Thanks for feeding us when we're going on the road. He fed us 3 or 4 times this year and never hesitated. I got a couple of phone calls that he probably shouldn't have got, but we covered that, so that's not going to happen anymore. Mr. Cobble, everything I asked for, Mr. Cobble would certainly be more than happy to give. And Coach Parker. Coach Parker's been out on the field with us quite a bit. He's a guy that'll do anything in the world for you. But overall, girls, I'd like to, just like I told you after the regional tournament, I appreciate the efforts that you guys, the girls gave me. I appreciate you working hard to get to the state tournament and achieving your goal. And hopefully we can go back next year. So thank you, girls. Maggie, were you in on this? No, actually. Got me a tape, and I'm not real sure correct pronunciation of the tape, but it's that salt and pepper, is that right? Pepper or something? Did I I'm sure there's a what a man, what a man, what a man. I know that song pretty well. I hear it every night. Thank you, girls.
Okay. This is high school baseball. I'll introduce myself. Coach Wade and Mr. Collins, he said, you want me to go back up there? And I said, well, it doesn't matter to me. We'll try to go from here. But starting out, we had a pretty good season this year. We had probably one of the toughest schedules I felt like we put together in the years I've been here. It's a very demanding schedule. We always try to make a good schedule and try to play some very, very competitive teams. And when I showed the boys the schedule when we first started the season, they were kind of wondering what we were trying to do. It was like knock them in the head or something like that to make them go out there and play these people. But I felt like they lived up to the challenge. I knew we basically come off of a good season last year and won 20 ball games and had a good season last year, went to regionals and everything. And I knew these kids this year was expecting the same thing. And we had to almost rebuild a lot of positions and put some people in places they'd never played before. But I felt like the kids really came through in a good situation, and I was very pleased with their performances. First of all, before I forget, I want to mention to you that there's a lady here from the newspaper, and she would like to have the people that receive awards and honors stick around for pictures to go in the newspaper. So before when we dismiss, make sure that you kind of stick around with it so she can get some pictures and put them in the paper. I also have a lot of people to thank. There's no doubt, like Mr. Baldwin said, there's a lot of support in this school, and it begins with the parents, and it goes all the way through up to the administration and school board. And when you walk in and ask for something, if it's within reason, maybe like a charter bus or something like that, but if it's within reason, they're more than willing, and also to help work for things. We had a fundraiser to pay for their uniforms, just like the girls did with fast pitch and slow pitch, and the guys really got out and did well in trying to raise money to get us more uniforms. There's a lot of people that behind the scenes too. The faculty and the staff and the people here in this school understand that these kids are asked to do a lot of things, and there's a lot of irons in the fire whenever they're performing in different events at FFA and FHA, and there'll be a lot of times that they miss class and they have to get back and try to make up, and the teachers and the faculty are really very good about working with the kids, and that helps from a coach's standpoint very well. First, I'd like to introduce the players. We had 12 players this year. We had one freshman, 2 sophomores, 3 seniors, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 juniors. And at times I felt like calling them the Dirty Dozen, but they were always clean shaved and took care of themselves. I want to introduce first the upper class. Freshman Sean Duffy, why don't you go ahead and stand up here? Come on to the front, Sean. Sophomores was Jeff Carroll and Francisco Escalera. It took me all season to learn how to pronounce that name, Francisco Escalera. Is Francisco here? All right. Juniors were Chad Krishnan, Jacob Browning, Wade Anderson, Josh Alley, Josh Gould, and Shane Didder. They can come up here to the front. Let you take a look at these gentlemen. The seniors were Jason Parks, Philip Voss, and Alan Mock. And this is basically the 1994 high school baseball team. So give them a big hand. I'll tell you their accomplishments in there, and you might be impressed with this stuff too. By far, one of the toughest schedules we have ever put together. We went to some big tournaments. The SOI tournament in Duncan is basically consists of 4A, 5A schools. We come out of that thing third or fourth place, I believe. And the first year for a conference here in Grady County, and we are 2 schools out of the 18 schools that are football schools, so it makes it difficult. There's a lot of advantages that a lot of fall baseball schools have over us, and we come in runner-up in the conference. We were second place in the conference. The first year for the conference to be reinstated in, from what I understand, 20-something years. So that's a big accomplishment for these gentlemen to jump in the conference and tell them we're here to stay. We got third place in the county tournament. We were also consolation tournament champions of the Leukemia Sickles tournament, which is what we consider a state tournament. You're looking at 4 schools out of that tournament that went to the state tournament in the playoffs. And then, of course, we were district champs. We went 20-19 and had another 20-game season, 20-win season. And I heard several people that talked to a lot of schools, a lot of places that they never won 20 ball games in 1 year. And I think that's a big accomplishment for these gentlemen. You can sit down now, guys, and I'll introduce we give out awards for certain accomplishments, and there's no doubt you look at stats and you have to look at individualistic things like their attitudes and how hard they work at things and practice performance. There's a lot of things that are not there that's on a piece of paper, and that's what's important. Things that come from the heart sometimes mean a little bit more than what comes on a piece of paper. We have a Most Improved Award. This award is given to an individual that we believe has made progress throughout the season. It started out rusty, having troubles, maybe had not played much, and really jumped into a situation where I didn't know how well we performed, and turned out to be one of our key players for us. The only thing I'm mad about this young man is the fact that he only gave me 1 year of his high school career when I could have used all 3 or 4 years of his high school career. And there's no doubt he's a talented young man. He's played a quarterback on the football team. And when we played pickup basketball, I think he could probably help out on the basketball team too, the way he played out there. Of course, he fouled too, but that's good. That's good. The most improved award goes to Philip Voss. The next award I have is it's called a Bulldog Award, and we utilize this award in situations for an individual that comes out and the performance is not all that has to be there. Sometimes if you're not thinking about the game or you're not intense about playing, you can be slacked off and you make mistakes. And I felt like this young man, day after day, was probably more intense than any individual I had out there as far as consistency. Worked very, very, very hard. We have to communicate a lot on the baseball field because there's a lot of little tricks to this game too. And I feel like this young man is probably the smartest baseball player I was ever going to get the opportunity to coach. And I'm tickled to death he's coming back. He's a junior, and I think he's got a lot of success whether he goes on to college or a career business or whatever, because I think he's intense about all his work. And Bulldog Award goes to Wade Anderson. The next award I have is a batting title or batting champion award, and we use primary stats on this, but we also use other things too. We're looking at clutch situations, importance of handling the bat at the plate, a low strikeout ratio, and on-base percentages. So there's a lot of things to look at this situation here too, not just the batting average. But this young man excelled in the batting championship with a .439 batting average, which is anytime any individual in high school baseball, and especially with the schedule we have like this year, hitting over 400 is an extreme great effort. And I feel like we are blessed with a lot of talent, and sometimes they really come to the top when need be. batting championship this year goes to Shane Dinner. This next award is a Golden Glove Award. This is a award that we feel like it's important because in critical situations, when everything else fails, your defense has to come to rise to the occasion. And I think it's important in any play or any sport that you play that your defense will win more ball games than your offense. And with the Golden Glove, we're looking at consistency. We're looking at someone that's going to be there and try to make the play. And if he has some difficulty, he overcomes it. There's a lot of work to defense, a lot more work to defense than I feel any other aspect of the game. And this is a very highly regarded award. We're looking at an individual that played on the infield and probably played 3 different positions on the infield and was considered a pretty good pitcher. And came in clutch situations and threw us out a lot of ball games, got us through a lot of ball games, and came through well for us. The Golden Glove this year goes to Jacob Browning. The MVP award is a Most Valuable Player award. I tell you what, this was tough because, like I said, it's hard to give any individual one particular award. And you got a group of men like this, you like to give everybody an award because I feel like they're well deserving of it. We looked at some stats on this too, and we also looked at performances. And there's a lot of things that stick out in your mind. And I know when you get down to playoffs, you get excited about things and things happen. And it could be nothing more exciting than to win a ball game with a grand slam. And it happened. District tournament, we're down by 3 runs. We're going into the bottom of the 5th, and we got bases loaded. And this gentleman that's on the mound pitching against us is having trouble finding the plate. And this young man that I'm talking to about is at the plate, and the pitcher throws 3 balls, and I said, we're going to walk. So I give him a take sign so he get a chance to walk. We save the bat, and I had to worry about trying to maybe hit a double play or something like that. And the pitcher throws a strike. So it's 3-1 count, bases loaded. And so I give him a take sign again. Of course, all the runners on base are going, oh, coach, you're crazy, man. That's going to make a full count, and all they have to do is sneak a pitch behind him, and we're out. And he throws another strike. So he's got a full count on me with bases loaded. And this may be the only opportunity we're ever going to get a chance to score runs and get back in the ball game. And the next pitch, the kid hits it out of the park for a home run. This will always stick in your hand, plays like this. And then he comes back in, and I feel like we were, when you play on somebody else's backyard, you don't get all the chances, all the breaks in the world. And the umpire, after we hit that grand slam, we're up 5-4, and the umpire says, well, this looks like it's going to extra innings. And I said, no, it's not. We're going to shut this thing off right here. And so we changed pitches, and the kid come in and threw an excellent second 2 innings of the ball game, shut him off, and we won to win the district championship. His performance in stat-wise, he batted .417. He led the team in RBIs and home runs, doubles, and triples. A very, very consistent ball player. He works real hard. And another good thing is we have an opportunity to have this young man back. So Chad Krishnan, I have some commemorative baseballs too. We feel like our seniors, if it wasn't for seniors, I don't think we have a foundation to work with. And I want to bring the seniors back up again. There's 3 seniors, and there's, we set our school record for a number of home runs this year. There's never been this many home runs hit out of the team. We have 19 home runs. It's an excellent record. I knew we had a big ball club. We had some big guys. and big people out there, but I didn't know, it was all going to hit like 6 fielders for each four tires. And there was a lot of little balls. I started out with like 6 dozen baseballs, and I was down to 1 dozen. Every time they hit one out of the park, they'd take it with them. And I was losing all my baseballs. So I've been, 19, that's almost 2 dozen baseballs, I said, guys, you got to start bringing them back. We went down there to call, and we call it the Homer Dome. And we went down there, and there was balls flying out of the park. I think there was like 14 home runs hit out. And I said, give me a bat. Joined in on this. But there was some good balls hit out. When these balls hit out of the park, though, they didn't hit out of any park. It wasn't just an intercom. But we had to ask the fans to throw the balls back in so we could finish the game because we ran out of baseballs. So there was a lot of great accomplishment and record set this year by this group of young men right here. And I'd like to recognize the 3 seniors again with a commemorative baseball that has all the information on it of their season this year and what they've accomplished, their record, and I think most of the players signed. If I'd like to have more players sign it, I'd like to have more players sign if they haven't got a chance to sign the baseball. There's 3 guys, gentlemen, come up here, and Philip Voss, and Alan Mock, and Jason Forrest. Last but not least, there's a few people I'd like to thank. First of all, I'd like to thank the administration and Ms. Stowe for helping us with this banquet and trying to get everything set up. We had a regionals here, and it was a very difficult time because there was a lot of rain and there was a lot of work we had to put into trying to get this field ready to play. And there was an enormous amount of people that come out to help us try to get the field ready. The other teams from all other, like 3 other towns came in. It was shocked to see that that morning there was water on the field, and that afternoon we were playing on the same field. And they were just amazed at the work and the efforts. We go to Cash, and it rains up there, and they got 2 coaches, and that's about it, trying to work on the field. And we come down here, and it's half the towns that ain't helping us get the field ready. And people like that, that's the backbone, and I appreciate it very, very much. I want to also thank Mr. Nard for helping me with stats this year. It makes it a lot easier for me to be able to do some other things and work with some other people and do some things. And he come in and help me with the stats and computerize them for me and everything, so it makes it look easy for me to read. I know my writing is pretty bad. I want to thank my wife too. She knows that if I'm not at the baseball field, then I'm probably on the softball field. So she says it's easy to find out sometimes, and I said, well, I hope so. And I want to try to get lost, but I want to thank her. There was a lot of times I come home and phone calls are ringing off the wall and trying to do this, that, and the other. And she's very patient and diligent with me. And I love her for it. So I guess that's all I have to say. And next one up is Coach Krishnan.
If they had a chair back here so y'all could see me on the podium. I was really proud of the 20 girls I had come out for basketball this year. It was my first year. They were great. We ended the season at 10 and 11, and I guess last year it was like 5 and 15, so I thought they did a real good job of bringing their season up that high. And 7 of our 10 losses came from 4 teams. With 2 of those teams, we came back to win the second time we played, and the other 3 teams that we played that beat us, we never got a chance to come back and beat them. So we couldn't split with them. We had a hard time. We did come back and beat Surreal the second time we played them. I beat them in a double overtime up here, about killed me, but we won. Got that 3rd place plaque down there from the Bulldog Classic. I was real proud of. I was real happy to have that. And see, first thing I want to do is get my seniors up here. I have 7 of them. See, Crystal Bunch, Shelley and Sherry Lovelace, Heidi Massey, Andrea Reichert. How many is that? Come on up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Jana, and Renee's not here. She's Bulldog. and give, I guess these first, well, I don't know how many, Crystal and Andrea and then Shelley and Sherry, their senior plaque real quick. These last two young ladies, I'm waiting because I wanted y'all to know that the very first of the season, I made the team choose who they wanted for their captain. And so it was not my choice, it was their own teammates. So they need a little special recognition that their teammates thought that they were good enough leaders to lead them through this year. And Jana Wright and Heidi Massey are our two co-captains, and I was real proud of them this year. Okay, y'all go ahead and go sit down. These next two young ladies that I'm going to call up are underclassmen, but they did well enough this year, and one's a forward and one's a guard, to get all conference in Grady County. And I'll give them their medals right now, Mandy Fulton and Brandy Yankee. That I want to give out are my most improved. And I know that you all have been here forever and you've seen them grow up and everything. This is my first year, and it's not so much that they improved. It's just that I could see them growing through the year. And they were both seniors, one for the forward, one for the guard, and they were both seniors, and it was something about them that made them stay late after practice, shooting, one rebounding, one shooting, one rebounding, one dribbling up the court, and you could just see in their eyes that they wanted to play real hard, real bad. And I even can still see them out there just playing around, trying to get better. They wanted to start, and every once in a while they got in there. And I wish they could have got to play more. Shelley and Sherry Lovelace, would you come up? The next plaque is our field goal percentage, and it's basically on books. I went through there and I thought it'd be the same person on my field goals and free throw, and it came down to the wire. The very last time, the field goal percentage winners, this young lady ended the season with 43% from the field and averaged 12.4 points per game. Mandy Fulton. The next plaque is our free throw percentage, and it's on books also. This young lady ended the season with 62%, and I had three young ladies over 50% from the line, and I told them that day in and day out, we're going to win games from the line. And when we get on the line, I say, put me on the line, we'll put them in, because we spent a lot of time on that line this year. This young lady had 62%, and she averaged 13.7 points per game. Andrea Riker. The next award is the Rebound Award, and I know everybody's going to think, oh, I know who has this. She had 157 rebounds this year. She also has the name Hammerhand Hanky. Randy, come get your award. The Hustle Award that I'm giving went not only for most steals, but someone just went 100% every time she touched the floor. She was definitely our sparkle this year. You put her out there and you could just see her just all over the place. She's just smooth. She loved the fly switch, and we ran that quite a bit. She ended the season with 51 steals and fouled out in less than 5 games, which was probably a personal record for her. She's not here tonight, but Renee Tassack. The last thing I want to do is thank people that helped. Teresa Anderson kept our books for us, and she did a real great job, and she was there for every game. Scotty Scott kept the scoreboard for us here and during the tournament, and I want to thank everybody that helped us during the tournament. I want to thank the Tip-Off Club for the decorations and the cookies at the end of the season. I know the girls like them on the bus. Anyway, and I just want to say that I know I'm not going to be here next year, and y'all are going to be coming back, and I hope you have a great season. And seniors, I hope you have a great life. And I hope that everything comes what you want it to be, and I hope that you can go to state, because I'll be watching you next year. Thanks.
Not sure why I got to go first and last, but I guess that's the way it worked out. All right, girl. You've got your awards and you act funny on the front row. Is that right? Okay. First thing I want to talk about: when you have a season that went like ours did in basketball, not as well as what you would want, there's a couple of things that can happen. When you graduate like we did last year, and then you come back and you've got a bunch of young men that come out and play for you, towards the mid part of the season, when you're not winning as many as you talked about previous to the season, attitudes, things can go bad. This group that I had, the one thing I remember the most about them is that when we were playing day in and day out, Monday through Friday, whether it was coming off a game on Tuesday and a practice on Wednesday, and you guys know how bad you hated Wednesday practices, we practice our toughest day is usually the day after a game, because we know what we need to work on. That's usually our conditioning game, because we've got Thursday to work on pregame stuff, and then Friday we play. This group, I can honestly say, our very last practice of the year before we went to play district against Okarche, that practice was as fun to me as the first practice. And a lot of groups, you can't say that. But this group of young men, they knew that if they came and went out and they tried as hard as they possibly could and did what I asked them to do, that's all I would do. I wouldn't reprimand them for the losses if they went out and they gave 100%. And a lot of times you can't gauge your success of the season on your wins and losses as much as the attitude and the dedication and desire of the young men that play for you. And that's certainly the situation we had this year. This group that came out, I had a couple that I went to and I asked them. I said, guys, would you come out and play basketball for me? I think you could be an asset to the program this year. A couple of them hadn't played the year before. A couple of them that started didn't get much playing time the year before. You know, they very easily could have got frustrated that year before, but they knew their time was coming. And I certainly appreciate each and every one of them for coming out and sticking with it. I didn't have anybody quit. When you have a season that doesn't go, like I said, as well as you like, usually you have a couple that drop off to the wayside. And that's a contribute to the parents and the upbringing of these young men, because I feel like they're strong and they know what it means to be a team member. For as all I know, there was not much jealousy on the team. I know there probably was a little bit that I didn't see, but if there is that I don't see and I don't hear about, then that's okay, because they're keeping it inside and they're trying to overcome it and become a better team player, not an individual. And I can honestly say we didn't have an individual on this team. We had all team members, and that was pretty pleasing from my standpoint. The group that I want to recognize at this time are the 4 seniors that we had on the team. Guys, if I call your name, if you please would come up here and let me talk a little bit about you. Try not to embarrass you too much. It just so happens the first one I've got, his last name is Hanky, and his first name sometimes was Hammer also. So guys, if you'll come on up here, I guess it runs in the family. But Gus came out. Come on up, Gus. You're not going to get out of the stage. He came out, he first year since, I guess, a 9th grader, gave all he had for me, and I appreciate his effort. Sometimes his court antics quite weren't up to par, and we had to talk about that a little bit. Gus, this isn't quite like football. Nobody else has a helmet on. This is basketball. And when I would explain that to him, he would understand that, and he would overcome some of that. He's so aggressive that stuff that you get away with the football field, he couldn't do it on the basketball court. But I certainly appreciate him coming out. Next one I want to talk about a little bit is Brian Pregler. Come on up, Brian. This young man has got the biggest heart in this town, I promise you. I can certainly promise you. He's came all the way up through from a freshman to a senior. I'm sad that I didn't get to have him as a 9th and 10th grader, because it would have helped me in my life a little bit to understand how things go. Brian is one that very easily could have quit, but he didn't want to. He wanted to be a team player. He would do anything they wanted to. He's there at practice every day. Run the first team or second team, it didn't matter to Brian. He's going to be there at practice and put his stuff on just like everybody else, and go through the drills and different things. So I certainly appreciate Brian for the whole year. Next one is Kyle Anthony. Kyle, would you please come on up? Did he not make it? Okay, I'll talk about Kyle a little bit. Kyle is a young man that we worked on a little bit on the off season, get a little stronger, a little bit more physical. As the season went along, Kyle played some special situations and some zone defenses where we could use him in the middle for rebounding purposes, and he did an exceptional job on that. He got better as the year went along. I'm kind of sorry that I didn't have him, from a freshman on up. I feel like I hopefully could have done a little bit more for Kyle than I did, and that's on the regret I had, because Kyle's a young man that's got a big heart too, and he knew what teamwork meant. He was there every day, asking what he can do to get better, and I felt like he was well deserving of more than what he got, and I'm certainly regretful of that, because had I could have him another year, I felt like we could have done a lot more things with him. The last one is Jason Parks. Come on up here, Jason. Jason's a young man that during football season of his junior year hurt his knee, so he stayed out of his junior year. Felt like with our injuries that we had the year before that Jason definitely could have been an asset to the program. I went to him and asked him, Jason, would you consider coming out for basketball? He never hesitated. He said, sure, Coach, I will. Knowing that he missed a year, knowing that he'd be a little bit behind, he decided to come out and was a big asset to the program. These young men that we got here, including Kyle, they're going to be sorely missed because, like I said, on the softball program, a lot of times the seniors know a little bit more than the juniors, and it goes on further down. And the leadership that these young men possessed, you could go in anywhere you wanted to. You could take this group and along with the rest of them, and you can have a fine basketball team as well as very, very fine young men. And you can take them anywhere, let them out anywhere, and heck, small eye on Gus, but everybody else will be just fine. Gus knows that I love him like a brother, but you got to keep an eye on that guy. He's prone to do some things, but the other, you know, he knows what's right. And that's the best thing I can say about this bunch is when you take them somewhere and you put them on the floor and you put them on the stands or wherever you go with them, they know what's right. And that's one thing that we ask in all sports and part of life is just do what's right and you'll be successful. And that's what these young men have possessed all year long. And for me, the last 2 years, as long as I've known them, you know, the 2 years I've known them. So at this time, I'd like to go over and get their plaque and present with them and get on with the program a little bit. Okay, the next one, in basketball, you go by stats, and you have stats on every game, and you compile the stats through the games in which you played all year, and you give winners of these certain awards in which we're going to hand out. The first award is going to be the free throw percentage. We had a young man that I can remember very vividly against Union City. They were getting down to the last couple of minutes, and they started fouling. And this young man stepped up, hit the free throws, hit probably 5 or 6 consecutive. He ended up with a 69% from the line, which is almost 7 out of 10, which is pretty respectable. You'd like to have 8 out of 10 or 9 out of 10, as close as you can get. But this young man is Jacob Browning. Next one, he's not here, but going back and looking on the films and in the scorebook, it goes back to what I said a little bit. When he played special situations and he was in the ball game, he seemed to get the job done. He seemed to get the rebounds and do the job. Probably worked harder towards the end of the season and realized his goal and knew it was coming to an end, and I really believe that's what motivated him. The Rebound Award is going to go to Kyle Anthony. Next and last award, girls. I'll get off the stage here in just a second. MVP Award. I had 2 young men this year that, as you go back and you look at the year, and you look at the scorebook, and if we've got an opportunity to win the ball game, these 2 young men have to be high in the scores. And they were. That's kind of what I figured at the start of the year. If they're going to score, and they're going to get their average, then we're going to have an opportunity to win, or we're going to have an opportunity to be in the ball game. This is a co-MVP, top 2 scores of the year, as far as that is, per ball game on an average. The first one is Jason Parks. Next one, this young man did a great job and scored quite a bit, did some rebounding, brought the ball up a little bit, was pretty active in the whole scheme of the offense and defense, pressed with him a little bit, just pretty much a valuable asset to the club is Wade Anderson. I've got Wade up here. I'm going to also present Wade with the field goal percentage award. It's pretty close between him and Jason. Probably could have called this, but there was a little bit of difference, so that's what we use stats for, is to find the top one and the runner-up. So Wade is also going to receive the field goal percentage award. Thank you. I guess, Mr. Caldwell, we'll turn this over to you.
director as an award to give.
Can I please have the other two seniors up here just for a second? Well, first off, I'd like to say that Coach Baldwin's been a real special coach to all of us, and I know he's a real special coach to everyone here. And I'm glad that he kind of said how bad we were this season, so we can, so I don't feel so bad about what I'm fixing to say. Now, the question some of you might be asking yourself is, what do you give a coach as a symbol of your gratitude and appreciation after a season of, what, 3 and 18? But the thing is it's real clear that people who were in there during the halftime receiving the talk by Coach Baldwin. I don't know if you know what this is right here. Now, I made this myself. This is solid steel, about a 1/4 inch. Welded together with a 6011 welding rod. Good to 11,000 pounds of pressure. Now, we all think Coach Baldwin's a stud, but I think this right here is kind of up to Coach Baldwin's speed. So if he'd please come up here and...
We have 2 more awards to give, and as I mentioned when I first spoke a little bit ago, how important it is to the coaches and myself, all of us, that what it means to be a Minco fighting Bulldog, because it's a tradition that's carried on here, and there are so few places in which they have something that is so meaningful, and the players there, whether it be a young lady or a young man, really and truly know what it means. And it's amazing how many people have seen some of the T-shirts we wear, and on the front it says, Bulldog. Dog thing, and the fact says you wouldn't understand. And a lot of people have asked me about that, and I just said, well, you wouldn't understand. And unless you're from here, you kind of don't. But it's very special to us. And these last 2 awards, I've asked all of the coaches, we give these, and for the boys, it's the honorary Krishnan Award, and for the young ladies, the Lady Bulldog Award, and I've asked Mr. Wade if he would present these, because he coached Chris Norman, and he can tell you a little bit about it. So if you guys and gals would come on in just a second.
I can't leave my cameraman out for the basketball. Mr. Alan Mock. I'll hear about it from now on. Alan, thank you for running the camera this year.
In basketball, don't want to make him too mad, because I don't think that thing will break. It's stuck. Right across there. This is the first time this year that we've established the Lady Bulldog Award. We felt like it was important. We wanted to try to recognize an individual lady for their work and accomplishments, and we've had this Krishnan Award the last 4 or 5 years. I believe we've done it for several years now. And what we have taken on this is a criteria of things, a list of over 15 criteria, and beginning with, we take the seniors, and that's the establishment. It has to be a senior, and we go down through we take all the list of seniors that participated in sports this year. And as a coaching staff, we process of elimination to try to find that one individual through all accomplishments. And there's more to it, like you said, than just what's on a piece of paper. The Krishnan Award, no doubt, is a very special award for me. This individual was a graduate here at Minco High School and went on to greater and bigger things and really represented the school very, very well. And he was a young man that was a coach's dream to not only coach, but know as an individual. And I know these other coaches probably did not get an opportunity to coach Chris Norman, but they've all had opportunities to work with young men and ladies in other organizations of schools and seen on a college level what performances these people can do. Their standards were always high. They had a high standard for themselves, a high respect for themselves, the community, and the people around them. I couldn't ask anything more than to give this award Chris's name, because it signifies what we would like for every individual to be. And what we try to do is place special emphasis on participation, attitudes, performance. And we ask that we look very, very deep into our hearts as a coach and say, what kind of individual is this person? And what's important for this person as a success in life? And, this is what's special for us. I'll start with the Lady Award, and this goes to a young lady that has participated in all sports, and we have now football, softball, fast pitch, and slow pitch, and she participated in the regionals in fast pitch with a broken nose and had to wear a face mask. And tell you what, I thought I was going to lose her. You know, I thought this individual was going to say, hey, I don't know, Coach, I don't think I can go. And you know, I wouldn't have blamed her a bit. And I asked her, I said, if we could try to work something out and put, you know, wear a bat helmet with a face mask on it, would you play? And she said, you bet. And that's hard. That's hard to do. She, you know, never wear a face mask in your life and then have to wear one playing softball. And participates, just like Mr. Christensen said, worked very, very hard throughout the days. And very diligent in class, good student, a good individual in the community. This award, the first ever award for Lady Bulldog Award, goes to Sherry Lovelace. The Chris Norman Award goes to a young man that as Coach Baldwin said, has a lot of heart to himself to come out and try to give you everything he's got, and the work habits are what's important too. You take an individual that doesn't feel like today is a good day to be there, and you can see it on their faces, and you can see it in the way they work, and I feel like this young man simplified an easy attitude, and was always very mature, a young man that I feel like you know, you could ask him to do just about anything, and he'd really work hard to try to accomplish that goal. Tradition is strong here. I think if we had to change the name of this fight bulldog to a traditional bulldog, I mean, it runs deep, and I think if we're cutting, we bleed the blue of Minco blue. This goes to Chris Norman, the Coach's Award, goes to Jason Parks. How I feel tonight that you'll be seeing was put together by most of the girls, if I'm not correct, twins. I saw Andrea and Mandy working on it, and there's probably a lot more. The Lovelace twins, a bunch of people, and I believe this is a neat idea. I never thought about this, and that's why we got smart kids to help us. But I think it's a consumption of all the athletes in the school, and that's fantastic. You know, it's not just one particular sport. It's basketball and baseball and softball, a little bit of everything. I think it's fantastic. The decorations and all the the tables that were set up and everything. Coach Ball and Coach Christensen and Andrea, Mandy, jumping all those balloons up and everything. Hey, well, DJ liked them, I know that. And a lot of the kids, the twins, were all here to try to help get this thing together and everything. And I really appreciate their efforts in putting everything on and helping us get together. So, we're going to take a break. Stretch your legs a little bit. Oh, okay, no break.